Hello friends, it's Artsy. I hope you've been enjoying the winter season as much as I have, so whatever you celebrate, be it Hanukkah, Yule, Christmas, Kwanzaa, or just December in general, may be filled with love, warmth, and kindness to you and yours. And speaking of the season, 'tis the season to be collabing because today is day 21 of the Animal Crossing New Horizons Advent event, hosted by so many Animal Crossing content creators that we know and love, or perhaps we're getting to know for the very first time. I chose the 21st because I grew up celebrating Yule, or the winter solstice, since I was a wee Artsy. And as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate the winter season over any one holiday. That's why I've decided to make the build that wasn't particularly festive, but revolves around the enjoyment of winter seasonal activities. So today, we're going to be making a ski lodge on my island, complete with a fully functional ski lift using the street lamp with banners item and this incredible custom code from none other than Strong Mom Games. So thank you, Strong Mom Games, for basically building my island for me. Thank you. Now, I'm going to be a little bit quirky with this build because I'm not like those other content creators who actually know how to stay on task with speed builds. If you've seen my previous build, bless you, because you know exactly what I'm talking about and you're still here watching. I appreciate it. Instead, I'm going to be using Happy Home Paradise as my sketch layer to put all the pieces together and then show the final result applied to my island. Also, I want to take a moment to thank Fleurs for putting this together, and for the amazing content creators who joined forces to bring such a unique countdown for the month. Yesterday's video featuring Pixie Butter's Perfect Snowboy Challenge was hilarious, and I can't wait to see what Infinity Crossing makes for day 22. And obviously, if you haven't subscribed to every single one of these amazing content creators, get on that. Make the algorithm actually do some good work for once. I'll be using my birthday twin Daisy's Happy Home Paradise vacation home to design the exterior build that I have in mind for the ski lodge. You probably noticed I did an oops thinking that I could build something on the 3rd level terraforming block I made next to my house, so thankfully the trick I used for Daisy's build was easily applied to the final one. The goal I had for this build was to use the frozen DIY items to add a bit of decoration to the entrance, but realized quickly on the final build I really wasn't feeling it. I tend to focus on more natural builds in general, since to me they are more forgiving and can easily be modified to whatever look you're going for. I wanted this build to also prioritize the appreciation of the environment around it, and since this is a winter island, not a holiday themed one, I ended up removing the frozen DIYs in place of a tree with 2 illuminated reindeer. Other than that, I stayed relatively true to the original Happy Home build, except that I added a cypress bathtub to the right side instead of extending the main building. And if you ever have the chance to enjoy a hot tub outdoors in real life in the middle of winter, I really highly recommend it. It's both calming and invigorating, and such a great evening activity with chosen family and friends. So, because of this build and my fuzzy sentiments with winter activities, you may be thinking Artsy is somehow remotely capable of skiing. No. In the attempts that I've done with skiing, the huge number of 2, I was injured both times. The first was actually on the ski lift itself, and the second was down a slope marked as so easy a baby can do it, and they lied. But despite my tendencies for injury on the slopes, I do actually love the idea of ski lodges. Traveling with a bunch of friends crammed in a tiny-ass apartment, spending the day on the slopes, followed by eating a community-made meal and drinking whatever fancies you. That's what I meant about appreciating the winter season over any one holiday. As much as I love the decor for December, the warm spices and colors, the trees and candles lit to keep the cold at bay, I don't have the desire, time, or energy to deck the halls to show other people how festive I am. To put this into perspective, it's the 21st and we still don't have the tree up. It's also going to be my son's very first Christmas, and my husband's and mine as parents, so the desire to go all out was very high for me at first. I don't know why. Mommy guilt that the house doesn't smell like a witch's gingerbread cottage as of November 30th, or the fact that we worked so hard for years to even get him here, and that all that I want to do is appreciate the fact that we have snow on the ground, that the apartment is warm, and that everyone I love is healthy and whole. I think it also has to do with the fact that my mom made Christmas an incredible time for me as a kid. She went all out with the tree, stockings filled with chocolates, clementines, small toys, and Santa's presents were always available for me to play with when I woke up to give my parents a few more hours of respite before it was time to unwrap the wrapped gifts as a family. Both sides of my family really went all out to make this season memorable, and so it almost feels like I'm not measuring up or doing my part to make it memorable for my son. But here's the thing. What makes you happy is the only thing that matters. If you want to deck those halls, you deck those flipping halls. If you want to buy that candle to make your whole house smell like a chocolate factory and call it a day, you buy that candle. For us, we're putting up the tree. We're making gingerbread cookies for us to enjoy until it's the new year. And we're making bagels to have on Christmas morning, a tradition that I've enjoyed since I was a kid. And Hubs wants to play Final Fantasy IX in the mornings, the three of us, as a way to celebrate our small family finally being together. It may not be full-on festive, but it's certainly focusing on the things that I want to reflect upon this season. Being present, being grateful, and being a better, kinder, more compassionate person than I was this time last year. And here's the finished build for Daisy. Please excuse the photo op that I used for reference for the island's build, but I really love how the plain party lights arches added some warmth and contrast to the snow, and the glowing moss boulders in white give effortless texture to the snow around it. I've used the boulders to represent snow piles in the past and highly recommend it if you want to add more natural beauty to your winter island without necessarily going all out with decorating. And again, Strong Mom's custom code for the street lamp with banners item is genius. I honestly think that her code was the spark of inspiration that led to this whole build, and easily connected my resident services with my house at the back of the island. So here's what I was working with at the start of this build on my island, with those mismatched street lamps and empty space, and this is what we have now. For the base build, you will need 4 wooden bookcases, 3 storefronts, 2 wooden storage sheds, 2 plain party lights arches, and at least 2 street lamps with banners, 1 retro transportation stop, and 1 plain wooden shop sign. Everything else can easily be modified to match the space and tone you're wanting, and this is one of the few builds that I've made where I really depended on custom codes to emphasize the function of the build itself. I expanded further to include 2 staircases leading up to the lodge, and sparingly added more flowers and holly to give it a more mountainous quality where you could expect some skiing to take place. This build also gave me the opportunity to use some of my favorite items, the garden rock, the log stakes, and the log furniture items. And finally, I felt the left side of the ski lift was a little bit too empty, so I moved to the tailor's next door. Kind of like a ski gear place, I guess. I'll have to make a custom sign that specifically says ski gear, but I'm the sort of builder in Animal Crossing that tinkers over time, so I'm not really worried about it. I had such a fun time doing this, and again, a huge shout out to Fleurs for putting this together and giving us the opportunity to show what it means to celebrate this time of year. Though Animal Crossing New Horizons is not receiving any more updates, it's very clear its community is still going strong and raising each other up with unabashed compassion, generosity, and creativity. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!